folks, Mythical DM here. Thanks for dropping by today. Wizards of the Coast released a UA that was not something that was even on anyone's radar, the Bastion subsystem. So I'll have a link down below to the UA 8 if you want to review it yourself. No, I will not be going over this line by line and page by page. Others have done so. I have no interest in reading aloud 21 pages of text. At the end of this video, I also want to discuss briefly the Wizards of the Coast news regarding distribution of their product. So with this release of UA 8, there's only one more to go, and that, according to Jeremy Crawford, will show the classes that they stated needed reworking. I expect that to see around mid-November at this point. So let's chat about the Bastion subsystem. This will likely be in the DMG. I cannot see them stuffing it into the player's handbook. Now, this is just a subsystem, so if a group or a DM does not want to use it, well, then just don't. It would be something to be covered in one of your session zeros. This subsystem will not work for many of the printed adventures. Waterdeep Heist gives you the Troll Skull Alley, which according to the Bastion rules, cannot even be used until 13th level with the pub options. So Out of the Abyss won't work. Tomb of the Annihilation would be very tough to implement without a lot of homebrewing. Spelljammer is likely out unless somehow it becomes your mobile base of operations. But again, that's kind of not what this is set up for. Wizards of the Coast acknowledges that this is not for everyone on page 1 of the article, which is a good thing. So what are Bastions in a nutshell? They're buildings that the PCs will create, own, and expand as they play. It kind of sits beside the adventure and is something to go back to every once in a while. Now, the article states it is once per week or every 7 days, which is a little odd for Faerun as it runs a 10-day week, but again, that's very easy to manage. The article states that the PC should visit it about 6 to 8 times per level, so we'll get a little more into that later. So Bastions get special facilities that generate Bastion points when ordered to do so. You accumulate Bastion points and then can spend them on things like magic items or a rebirth. Again, we will have to dive deeper into that as well. So players cannot combine their Bastions to get multiple special facilities in the same Bastion, which, looking over the document, makes sense, but it kind of kills the whole collaborative vibe that should be happening in your RPG. You also get a couple of basic facilities to start, which again seems a very odd restriction. You can have a bedroom and a kitchen, but no bathroom. It's kind of an odd bachelor pad that you're going to be living in, but whatever. Basic facilities come in 3 sizes and take specific amounts of time and cost to build. Fun fact, you're better off building 2 roomy rooms and 1 cramped room for less cost and time than it would be to build a vast room. Sizing is just kind of odd. Cramped is roughly a 10 by 10 square, which makes sense for a bedroom, maybe a kitchen. Roomy is 20 by 20, which is likely the size of your living room. Vast is 30 by 30, and to be very honest, that's kind of small for what it is, especially for buildings like the observatory or pub. 30 by 30 is only 900 square feet. Now, my game store was over 2,000 square feet, and even then it felt pretty small. The barracks is another example. 12 people in a 400 square foot room is very tight. At the best configuration, you're going to go about 3 squares wide, 5 squares long, which is not big enough for beds plus a foot locker for each of the 12 folks. Now, you would have to put them in bunk beds to fit. It should have been vast. Now, limiting size this way, again, to me is kind of a rushed idea. There could have just been a cost per square and then give rough estimates of each size. As an example, give each square a cost of 100 gold pieces, then state that the minimum for a special facility in squares. So barracks should be roughly 3 by 11, and so say 36 squares, which is their vast. So say 3,600 gold pieces, done. Each square is 4 days to build. Done. That gets rid of 3 categories and expands the possibility to design for each player. So this is going to sound like I'm bashing Wizards of the Coast again. But I do think that this has potential, and there is a lot they need to work out. Some players will just look at how they can make money off their facilities more than why they're using them. The arcane study is a good example. Why would anyone create an arcane focus when the craft book nets you 15 extra gold per week? There are other optimal facilities to choose from at certain levels, and there are enough mathletes out there that will boil this down to a spreadsheet before the book is even on the shelf. Some facilities, like the barracks, goes on the assumption that your Bastion will be under attack often. If not, this is going to be a big waste of a facility slot because they are limited. Things like the archive. Now that's a great addition with several cool little bumps for PCs instead of becoming a spreadsheet of profits and Bastion point generation. Too bad that one is 13th level. The gaming hall is 9th level, but the pub is 13th. I don't get that, and I'd reverse those. I'd even drop the pub to 5th level to line it more with the Waterdeep heist. Now, special facilities are gated behind level advancement, which again is totally fine, but you again have to wonder why things like the pub is 13th level when Troll Skull Alley and the Waterdeep heist is attainable at 3rd level. One of the things also to remember is that most games end roughly around level 10, so a lot of these options are things your party will likely never get to. As well, some of the special facilities may be an odd fit in an urban setting, such as Waterdeep or Neverwinter, and it'd be interesting to see them come up with additional guidance for a wilderness versus urban setting. There could be different events depending on location, such as having a theater in the middle of the mountains or a desert just seems odd. Are people trekking leagues to see your rendition of Romeo and Juliet, but with goblins? Whereas the menagerie may get very annoying to those living in a major city. You thought being woken up by a rooster is bad? Wait until a direwolf starts howling. Most PCs will only have a maintain action each week, as issuing orders requires you to actually be at the Bastion. But why? Sending stones are uncommon and cost between 100 to 500 gold pieces. Should PCs not be able to use these? Animal Messenger is a 1st level spell that can travel up to 500 miles in a day. So again, should that be an option? Or why not allow them to issue commands at a month at a time? Again, that does not seem to me unreasonable. These are the things Wizards of the Coast will have to work on, or more likely it'll be up to third-party content creators to adapt, adjust, and work. No business plans 1 week at a time. A Bastion basically becomes a business with this system. If it is treated as such, things like this do definitely need to be addressed. That brings me to another point. This could be very time consuming outside a game for the player and the DM as well. This brings in a lot more management that many will not have a taste for. Some will absolutely love it and others will not. Now the article states that this is done weekly and there should be 6 to 8 of these done per level. Now this will vary greatly on your campaign. Something again like the Tomb of Annihilation will be very rough to get this done as the adventure has in-game time restrictions on it. In Spelljammer, it takes weeks to travel the cosmos. The Dungeon of the Mad Mage could work depending on where the players are and where they can get to the gates and how they can get out of the mountain, but even that can take days to hop from level to level. Bastion points are a neat concept, but in practice may end up pretty lackluster as purchasing magic items through it are gated by level, which again is understandable. And I guess when they release the DMG update with some magic items, hopefully they'll have costs, etc. That should help a bit. Now the 100 Bastion points for Rebirth needs a lot of clarifications. Spells that utterly destroy a being, such as Disintegrate, state that only a true res or wish restores them. So does this Bastion Rebirth apply? Is this ability of a Bastion basically considered a true resurrection? That just needs a bit of clarification. Are there better options? Yes, for sure. There's a great supplement for Troll Skull Alley by Janek Selecki, I hope I got the name right, available on the DM's Guild. My players used it and loved it. It adds several options to expand Troll Skull Manor. It was very easy to understand. It gave abilities that were balanced for the players, like temp hit points or additional spell preparation, etc. It gave them options to spend their coin, but it gave them a ton of RP to go along with it as well. Now, in 3.0 D&D, we had the Stronghold Builder's Guidebook. And it was one of the best supplements ever made because it was made for everyone, not just a specific class. It is available on the DM's Guild as well. Now, it would need to be tweaked for 5e, but let's be honest, homebrewing and tweaking 5e goes pretty much hand in hand. Now, Dragon 295 also ended up with some extra parts to that release. There's also another product on the DM's Guild called Fortresses, Temples, and Stronghold Rules for building and customizing player-owned structures by Warlock Homebrew that also allows players to just build fantastic edifices. Warlock has updated it several times, and once you purchase it, you can download it, and any updates there will happen, and you can download it again. In our Kingmaker campaign, over on Twitch, and you can see the video on demands here on the channel, we are about to embark on the kingdom creation and management portion of the adventure path. Now, this has a very in-depth guide to kingdoms, creating cities, and management of the whole deal. I believe the kingdom management is just given to those with Foundry VTT, and the player's guide with all the rules is also available for free from Paizo. So I think this is a step in the right direction for Wizards of the Coast, but it needs a lot of work, hence the playtest period. So read over it, try it out with your home group if you want, and see what they can come up with. Now, let's chat briefly about the latest news from Wizards of the Coast with dissolving their partnership with Penguin Random House for distribution of their books to large-scale retailers such as Chapters Indigo here in Canada, or Barnes & Noble or Target in the US. Now, if there is something to call out regarding this, I would, but it really is nothing. No traditional game store has ever used Random House. So I ran a game store for over a decade and never, ever did I use Random House. In Canada, we have Universal Distribution, Lion Rampant Imports, Grosvenor, and several others that we can get the books from. I could even order directly from Wizards of the Coast if need be, and that usually happened for large Magic the Gathering releases when we were limited in how much we could order from our distribution partners. But that ended about 2 months after I closed my shop. In the US, there are multiple distributors such as Alliance, Diamond Comics, PhD, and more. Their books are not going anywhere. It is more than likely that Wizards will be just cutting out the middleman and distributing directly to large retailers. This would net them more cash in the long run anyway. And they could also be that Wizards of the Coast announces a new partnership in 2024 with another large book distributor. So no, the sky's not falling, at least not in this instance. All right, that's it for now. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the Bastion system. Would you add it to your game? What would need to change if not? If you're interested in more content from me, please remember to like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and even hit that bell for notifications on new videos. In the meantime, and in between time, thanks for watching, and may all your games be full of myth, mirth, and magic.